The movie starts off with two cosmonauts trying to keep relaxed while getting ready for the dangerous re-entry procedure back to Earth.
Readings are within nominal limits.
Roger. Proceed according to schedule.
The commander initiates undocking procedure.
Copy.
An unknown collision causes the capsule to spin. Soon, the commander manages to stabilize the craft. After regaining control, the cosmonauts have a good laugh, which is short-lived as they detect something outside on the hull of the capsule. Shocked by this development, the commander is unsure of how to proceed as he hears the entity move across the hull to reach the hatch of the vessel. In the next scene, we can see the capsule safely landing back to Earth. We see a passerby who comes to investigate the landing site. However, as he approaches, he can see everything is not all right when he notices the body of a cosmonaut with severe injuries to the head. Closing up on the spacecraft, he sees the commander exit the capsule also with severe injuries. The movie then takes us to Moscow, where we meet Dr. Tatiana Klimova, a psychiatrist, under review from the medical board for her controversial treatment methods. However, her unconventional methods have gained the attention of Colonel Semiradov, who is in charge of a classified mission. He asks her for assistance with the promise of a full laboratory and an intriguing discovery involving the return of the cosmonauts. Curious of the prospect, she approves conditionally and travels with the colonel to the classified military base. During the trip, she's informed that some details of the recent Orbit 4 landing have been hidden from the public, and that the surviving cosmonaut, commanding officer Konstantin Veshnyakov, is suffering from episodic amnesia. During the second leg of the trip, we can see them arriving at a large scientific research station at a remote location. Upon arriving to the research complex, the colonel leads her to the control room. However, the procedure is ineffective, and the doctor leaves the room in frustration. To get a secondary opinion, Dr. Tatiana goes in to conduct an interview. She sees a toy in the room which she asks about, to which Konstantin tells her it's his personal possession. Konstantin then tells her he has no recollection after he started the landing procedure. After the interview, she says there are no abnormalities. Later that night, the colonel asks for her to come back to the control room as he is willing to share some classified information. After reaching the control room, the colonel orders the quarantine chamber to be sealed more securely. While the subject is sleeping, he starts convulsing violently, and we see an organic mass being excreted from Konstantin's oral cavity. The mass then begins to move and sheds its layer of protective membrane to reveal a creature. She decides to take a closer look and to gauge the creature's intelligence. After showing a welcoming gesture, the creature reacts violently. After this unprecedented reveal, the colonel informs her the creature enters and exits at night without harming the host. He asks her to save Konstantin's life. Going over the case files, she learns that during the first night of his admission to the hospital, the creature had attacked a technician. So far, they have been unable to safely remove the parasite as Konstantin's vitals deteriorate. The parasite gives Konstantin regenerative ability, while incubating the parasite takes up only 30 centimeters. When exiting, the creature releases a toxin, relaxing the muscles and knocking him out, and resides outside for about an hour and 40 to 50 minutes, and exits consistently between 2:40 and 3:10 at night. She also learns that Konstantin has a son living in an orphanage. In the follow-up interview, she mentions this to him. He is visibly shaken and mentions he had learned of this just before his flight. That night, when the creature re-emerges, she tries to communicate through body gestures, to which the creature responds, mimicking her and showing signs of intelligence. She also notices the creature's interest in Konstantin's toy, which encourages her to examine the creature more closely by raising the protective barrier. After placing the toy in front of the creature loses its aggressive stance and interacts with the toy in a playful manner. Tatiana slips. Afraid and scrambling to get up, the creature notices and attacks. Lights are turned on, allowing the soldiers to extract the doctor. Following this encounter, Tatiana concludes that the creature and Konstantin are sharing the same conscious mind as the creature reacts to the toy. She also mentions that the creature stays outside for consistently longer periods of time, and they may not have much time. Reviewing the case information, She asks Dr. Jan Leonidovich why Konstantin's hormone levels are radically different at morning and night. After Tatiana pressures him on the inconsistent information provided, he relents and agrees to show her. To get to the classified area of the facility, Dr. Jan tells Tatiana to hide in his jeep as he drives through security. At the same time, we see Konstantin being given a sedative, after which the creature, emerging from Konstantin, exits from a back door of the quarantine room. Tatiana sees a prisoner being transported to the sealed-off area. We see the creature attack the prisoner and eat his brain. After this horrific revelation, Jan tells her when the creature had attacked the medic before arriving at the facility, his vital signs drastically improved. They have tried feeding it everything from lab rats to pigs, but nothing worked. With no options left, the colonel had ordered a prisoner to be fed to the creature, after which Konstantin's hormone levels improved. They realize that the creature does not only kill, but scares the victim first, which releases a large amount of cortisol. The creature essentially feeds on cortisol. Distraught by these methods, Tatiana decides to tell Konstantin about feeding prisoners to the creature. She asks him to join her for a jog and tells him about these events. Taken aback, Konstantin tells her to meet him at 1 a.m. in his block. Later that night, Konstantin coughs up his daily sedative and sneaks out of his room. He meets up with Tatiana. He reveals to her that he is conscious when the creature exits and can see everything through its eyes. She asks him why he has not disclosed this information, to which he replies that if the colonel knew, he would never let him go. As she returns, she is stopped by guards and escorted to see the colonel. The colonel informs her his true intentions for the creature, to control it and use it as a weapon. Confronting him over his methods of feeding it people, he counters by saying that these are dangerous criminals. He then asks her to join him for the next feeding session. Returning for the next feeding session, Tatiana sees more prisoners being transferred to the feeding chamber. As the creature searches for its next victim, she asks the colonel to stop. At his refusal, she asks to be let in the chamber and tries to calm the creature by reciting an old song. This works temporarily, but as one of the prisoners scrambles, the creature attacks, ripping his head open and kills him. The colonel asks her if Konstantin is able to control the creature, to which she replies that he can't. He goes on to say that they need to control it, and he's not sure if he can without her, and asks her help in acquiring this weapon. Later in the lab, she learns that the creature chose Konstantin as the other cosmonaut was in the early stages of cancer, which the creature was able to detect. She then tells Dr. Yan that they will be trying to escape at 2 a.m., and she will need his assistance. Later that night, Dr. Yan brings Tatiana the sedative, which she uses to incapacitate the guard. With his help, she reaches Konstantin's room and informs that she has prepared a hormone mixture that will imitate the effects of Addison's disease, which his co-pilot had, and will force the creature to exit. Konstantin is unsure of this, fearing the creature is already acclimatized, but relents and follows her. As the two try to escape, they are being monitored in the security room. The colonel orders security to capture Konstantin unharmed and to terminate Tatiana. When the pair reach the garage, they are met by security personnel that order them to surrender. They take cover as they are fired upon. Running low on options, Konstantin asks for the injection that will force the creature out of him. With the soldiers nearly at them, Konstantin takes the injection. As the creature exits Konstantin, they shoot. Moving with unprecedented speed, the creature flanks the soldiers and takes them out one by one. During all the commotion, Tatiana drags his body to a truck and flees the facility. Upon arriving at the garage, the colonel faces the creature in an attempt to subdue it. Tatiana is seen driving away from the complex while Konstantin appears unwell. As the colonel takes another shot, we see Konstantin's condition deteriorating. Tatiana stops the car, realizing they are still linked. She takes him out of the car to help him recover. She then sees another truck approaching. It's the colonel who has caught up to them. She tells him they took too long, to which the colonel says he will do what he can. These soldiers take a container out of the truck, unlocking it to reveal the creature in a damaged state. He mentions that not everyone can be saved. The colonel then grasps her violently. Angered by this, Konstantin tries to take control of the creature. It works, and the creature attacks. In an instant, the creature is in front of him. In a powerful strike, takes half the colonel's head off. Tatiana rushes to Konstantin to examine his condition. He is unresponsive. However, after the creature re-enters his body, he wakes up. She promises him she will find another way after she gets him to Moscow. They see more vehicles approaching. Realizing they won't let him go, he says he has found another way. He uses the pistol to take his own life. After some time, we see Tatiana traveling. We learn that she herself was in an orphanage as a child. She arrives at Rostov, where she meets a young boy. It's Konstantin's son, and Tatiana decides to adopt him, giving the film a happy finishing. Thank you for watching this video. Please consider subscribing as we aim to produce more quality summaries and analysis of films and TV series.